Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. And yes, I remember you. Yep. Hey Lucas, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Just had a massive steak with squash, grilled jalapeno peppers, and what else? What was it? Grilled zucchini. It's good. Wrap up that client meeting and join in. Come on. $5 Canada. What are my thoughts on reality being a strange loop, meaning God and us are all included in the same creation, a paradox? Dude, thoughts like that go through my head all the time. Are you kidding me? You mean there's someone else like me out there that has like all kinds of whacked out thoughts? Are you kidding me? That's the kind of stuff you don't tell people. Oh, the chain. I've had this since my first Holy Communion. I was 6 years old. Silver. 6 years old. 1966. So I want to get a gold one exactly like it. If I can find a gold one like this, let me know. Email me. I need to find a gold one. Let's see. Canadians can now be jailed for online hate speech. Can't use my real name. All right, I remember your real name, so don't worry about it. I got your back, bro. Okay, I got your back. Probably won't be long before. Well, it's the same here in the States, except they close your bank account, they unperson you, deperson you. You know, you disappear on social media, right? What's up, everyone? How's it going? It's a glorious Sunday. It is. Yeah. Well, first thing I'm going to do is open up some coconut water, which I love. Put that on ice. So tomorrow I get the car inspected. Got to drop it off. And then they'll give me a ride to work. Yes, coconut water. Hydration at its best. Hold on, I feel a sneeze coming. Big time. What in the world? Why is my nose dripping all of a sudden? Here it is. It's like. Time. Well, I know what time it is. It's a temperature. All right, so it's 90 degrees. I have a. I'm a Toyota fan. Put it that way. I love Toyota. Yeah, right. Coconut water, beards it up. Man, you remember that? That's wild. Oh my god, that's good. And then I like eating the coconut that settles to the bottom. I live in communist Vania. That's where I live. How about you, Logan? Where you at? Where are you at? Man, you know, I could drink that Goya coconut water like all day, nonstop. Dallas, Texas. I got a lot of friends in Dallas, Texas. A lot of friends in Dallas. Phil Foster lives in Dallas. Who else? George Kellis lives in Dallas. Good guy. Yeah. Yep. That's coconut. No, it's coconut water. It's like when you get a coconut and you shake it, and it's got that water in it. That's what that is. Yep. So thank God it's Sunday. Why? Because it's Sunday. Thank God it's Sunday. If it was Monday, I'd say thank God it's Monday. If it was Tuesday, it'd be thank God it's Tuesday. I thank God for every day. You know, I really do. Thank God for every single day. I really do. What the heck? I'm all of a sudden dripping. Tips for running a small business. Oh, Daniel. Oh, I've got a lot to say about that. I had a course that I made that I called the five. I called it the $5,000 flash drive, and on it was 20 lessons in growing a small business. If you do all 20, you'll make well over 5,000 your first month. Well over 5,000. So I'm actually going to be putting that together as a course real soon. Although I'm probably not going to put it on a flash drive. I used to actually send out like a physical flash drive. Now it's just going to be a digital course. So, yeah. Croatia in the house. That's awesome, man. I've got a pipe. I don't think it's here. Yeah, it's not here. Darn. I left it in the house. From Daniel Mustran, who is a pipe maker in Croatia. It's one of the best pipes I've ever had in my life. It's amazing. And his company is called ND Pipes. N as in Nebraska. ND Pipes. Yeah. What's Lilia say? Any tips on finding a good relationship where us natural hippies can find those people? Right here. My channel. All right. How old are you? Tell about yourself. And if there's anyone that relates to you, then you guys connect. Simple as that. Ben says, any tips on what to do if your skin gets irritated after shaving, even though you warmed your skin, stretch it before shaving? Aloe. Aloe is amazing. And then your aftershave is going to be witch hazel with rose water in it. Simple as that. That's what I do. If I had to choose an author-shaped pipe or full bent, what would you buy? I have all of them, Daniel. I have authors, full bents, and straight, everything. Tonight, I'm actually smoking my first pipe ever. This is a Dr. Grabo. This bad boy is, I forget how old this is. What, maybe 40 years old? And that's what I'm puffing on tonight. My very first pipe. Nice. Nice. Tamp that bad boy down. I like Dr. Grabos. They're light. It's a good day. It's a very good day. Fast has not started yet. Not yet. Not yet. I'm looking forward to July. Summer shred. Looking forward to it. I'm so psyched about it. I was putting on my new belt. I got a Hank's belt yesterday, and it fits so perfect. Oh my God. So perfect. I got a 36 belt that I put on my 34-inch jeans. And I'm psyched. Dudes, I used to have like a 42-inch waist. Seriously, 42-inch waist. Do I smoke cannabis? I used to. I don't anymore. Because I actually enjoy getting things done. You lost over 100 pounds, went from a 44 to a 34. Yeah. I put on my belt today on these new jeans that I got. These Lee Modern Fit jeans. And they have like a gusset in the crotch. It's like a diamond shaped thing in the crotch so they don't crush your private parts. And they're made with what, like, I don't know, 2% stretchy stuff woven in the jeans, you know what I mean? So but I like them. I like them a lot. I have some carbs every now and then. You know, I'm normal. But it's going to be strictly carnivore for July. Dark chocolate is okay during carnivore. Sure it is. Who is the manufacturer of the jeans? Lee. I got Lee Modern Fit jeans. They fit me perfect. 34, 32 length. Yeah, be careful with stretchy jeans because what happens, like with guys, if they squeeze your balls too much, you can have problems. That's kind of you just really have to be careful, especially if you're a young guy. Be real careful about the tightness around your private parts. You know? Yeah. Cannabis is medicine. I treat it that way. I don't use I don't use aspirin recreationally. So, but there was a time when I did use cannabis often. And like I said, I enjoy getting things done. It does tend to make a man lazy and less ambitious. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Don't suffocate the jewels, whatever you do. 60th wedding anniversary of some relatives. God bless them, man. That's cool. I will never be married 60 years. Never. I'm lucky if I'll be married 20 years in my lifetime. Natural Law, $5 super chat. Thank you. Much appreciated. You know what's nice is a Dr. Grabo little haunted bookshop. It's coconut water. See, the coconut all went to the bottom. I could drink a gallon of this. I swear. I could just be like nonstop. Love that stuff. It's a little expensive, but I like it. Especially if I'm working out in the yard or something, like working on the deck. Yeah. Let food be your medicine. Yeah. Oregon in the house. What is my religion? I am a follower of Christ. Not a very good one, but nevertheless a follower of Christ. What do I think about online dating? Ugh. Last night, did you hear what I said? If you were watching me last night, I did an experiment where I went online and I put in my profile, looking for a good wife, not just a good time. I think there was 3 responses in 2 months. Okay. 2 months later, I said, looking for a good time, not a good wife. 80 responses. What's that tell you? Lilia, how do you find people in real life? You got to get out in real life. You got to get off the web. You know, I mean, you might find someone here. I don't know if any of my guys are single and looking. I have no idea. I don't know. Higher nicotine aromatic blends. I don't know any. The non-aromatic Royal Yacht Haunted Bookshop will Elizabethan mixture will knock you on your butt in a good way, of course. You saw the video of me talking to my son. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to do a podcast with me. Tell you what, that's the hardest thing in the world. You know how many people want to do podcasts with me? Any idea? I have like literally dozens of people who want to do podcasts with me, but I can't get my son to do a podcast with me. You know, go figure, right? Obelix, good to see you. Happy Sunday. Mo, you missed me. I've been on every night for the past week. How can you miss me? This weekend started out rough. I was so tired on Friday. Remember, I was supposed to do a reading of H.G. Wells. I was so tired that I couldn't even read. That's tired. And I got a lot of sleep. My son is 22. My kids are 25, 22, 18. Why in the world would I smoke a pipe? It's relaxing. That's why. We should make a dating app for based men and based women to meet. That would get ruined in like one day. Are you kidding me? Coach Red Pill, it's a good guy. Natural Law has a $5 super chat and says, any tips on how not to be the guy who needs a drink after work? Work out after work. Hit the gym after work. Your body will crave water, not alcohol. Yeah. Yeah, but how do you know who's based? You know, if you go on a dating site, how do you know who's based? Right? Like I remember going on dating sites and I would just be like left, left, left. Like as soon as I see tattoos on women, I'm like, no, thank you. Not my cup of tea. I'm not being judgmental, just not my cup of tea. You know, like forget it. I see like those eyes. I'm like, left, forget that. It's a good day in Ottawa. That's cool. It's very cool. They use she, her pronouns. What if you see a woman and she says, hi, my name is Aaron. I use she, her pronouns. Would you swipe left or would you smack the phone? Hey, Joe Brown, so does eating shit cause cancer? Cat slap. Bull style nose rings. It's like Like when these women like they give one to their, they have their daughter pierced, like the nose pierced. I can see like a little girl getting her ears pierced, 5, 6 years old, get pierced ears. But like when the little girl does that thing there, I'm like, that mom should be like arrested. This is the Van Gogh room. It is. Tis the Van Gogh room. Hmm. Yeah. You see? The Van Gogh room. Hey, Joe Brown, this is not the time or place. First and last warning. Favorite Bible verse. And Judas went out and hung himself. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. This Van Gogh room's going to be emptied out probably within 2 months. It'll go back to being a garden shed. I won't date a vaccinated woman. For me, that would be like dating a girl with herpes. Not interested in that. If I can find an unvaxxed patriot Christian woman, damn, you have to pick me off the ground first. I have no opinion on kratom. If it works for people, fantastic. Everybody should have a Van Gogh room, even if it's like the corner of a garage, you know? Well, I'm looking at a studio, starting a studio, a dedicated studio. I'm not a vaccine fan at all, at all. I'm not anti-vax, like, and I don't care if you do. You know what I am? I am a, how can I put it? A do what you want ocrat. That's, you know, I have no idea who's against the vax. I attract women that are libertarian, free, freedom loving kind of women. You know, off the chart nut jobs, new ages. Those chicks just run from me. They hate me. They hate me. So you know, I am those are the kind of women I attract. I attract women that love freedom. Uh, Simple as that. Beautiful women. You should see the women like writing me all the time. You have no idea. I just went shopping, just like women, just you know, zero issues. Blessed is the man who can but doesn't. Okay, I'm kind of like more like a third order kind of guy. I'm a lay monastic. That's what I am. And my hopes for myself is that I'm not going to, drop my draws for anybody until I'm married. You know, not interested in whoring around anymore in my life. Simple as that. Simple as that. I don't think it's the mark of the beast. Could be wrong, but Yeah, you know, I don't care if you get it or not. I mean, if you're a woman and you want to get the vax, go ahead. But you're not going to be in my life. Simple as that. Advice for being authentic. Just admit when you're wrong. Haunted bookshop is in the bowl tonight. What kind of lighter do I use? Everything. Whatever is within reach. I have everything from torch lighters to Bic lighters to butane to everything you can imagine. Spoke to your grandfather. That's good, Russell. Yeah. The only 20 piece, you ought to know better than that. The only mask that's in this Van Gogh room is this right here. This is the mask right here. Now I got to put on my glasses. There we go. That's the only mask that I use right there. That's the only mask that I want. Period. But now I can't smoke a pipe through this. Shoot. Or maybe I can. Is there a hole in it for the mouth? Let's see. Ah, yes. Let's see. Anyways, it's too hot to be wearing a mask of any type. Oh my God. Ugh. Forget that. Way too hot. Way too hot. Ugh. Makes my nose itch too. Smoking a pipe is way different than smoking a cigar. It's just chill. It's so chill. I mean, come on. I didn't attend church today. I didn't. Thank you, Russell. Thank you. Your barber school instructor shows your shaving video. The story of that was it was a snowy day. Literally, it was like 14 inches of snow. No clients came in. It was me, the owner, one of the owner's friends, and the owner's father. He went to Wawa to get his coffee. He said, "Let's make a video." I said, "What do you want to do?" And he goes, "Why don't we do a shave video?" I said, "Who am I going to shave?" He goes, "Shave my father when he comes back with coffee." I said, "All right." Father came. It wasn't like a really, like, I didn't think about it for like more than 20 seconds. Literally, I was just like, "All right, come on, Pop," you know. And I did that video. Now it's got what, like 3 million views. Like, how sick is that? You do an accidental video and it gets 3 million hits. And it was just me completely 100% improvising. There was like really nothing planned, nothing. The other one was, did you ever see my video called "Pipe Smoking: The Real Reason Why"? I was on my way to my biker bar, and it was a Tuesday night, and I just basically started talking about pipe smoking. That's it. Will someone check that on my channel? Check and see how many hits that "Pipe Smoking: The Real Reason Why." See how many views that video has. Somebody do that for me. I just get a kick out of that. I mean, like, that was another one that I expected 0 people to watch or like. And it's the most watched pipe video on YouTube ever in YouTube history. 1.1 million. Can you imagine that? 1.1 1 million. That's sick, man. That's crazy. That was another one I had no idea. Like, I don't even know how long it is. Do I think the United States will experience a massive food shortage? I think it will. I think it will experience a short. Last year they started fucking around with us a little bit. Remember last year at this time they were fucking around with paper towels and hand sanitizer and toilet paper and all. You go in the aisles. This is when they were putting like fucking arrows on the floors and like plexiglass shields, and everybody was fucked up. There was people with counters, like 17-year-olds at the doors going, "No, you can't come in unless you're wearing a mask. Hold on." And he's like radioing the other guy. "All right, 3 people just left. Okay, 3 people can come in." I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? That happened a little too fucking fast. I'm sorry, folks. A little too fucking fast. And I am fucking positive that was a shit test. We were being shit tested for compliance. And don't. Now, here I go again. I started out calm. I got to remain calm. It was a friggin' test to see how fast we would comply. That's what it was. Never in fucking history has the whole world walked in lockstep before so fucking fast. All the stickers everywhere, arrows, plexiglass shields, all that bullshit. All of that stuff happened within 1 month. You tell me that wasn't fucking planned. Timothy Pickens, I think you're right too. Oh yeah, and it cut people right. Like I was in the store like 2 hours ago, did some shopping. People still wearing fucking masks. What the fuck's the matter with you? I look at them like the fear in their eyes. Drives me nuts. Tanisha, social distance. Who the hell ever heard of social distancing? What a bunch of douchebags. I'm sorry. Stick your social distancing. Shut the social distancing. Seriously. Come on. I saw a couple, true story, like 2 weeks ago, driving in a what do they call it? What's that little car? Little convertible. Like it looks like a little Mr. Bean car. The hell is it? A mini. One of those minis, right? You know what I'm talking about? Is that what it's called? A mini? Mini Cooper. So it is, Mini Cooper. A couple in a Mini Cooper convertible, both had masks on. I was like, what the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? A couple in a Mini Cooper with masks on. Yikes. It was a fear test. You know, Europe is the biggest bunch of pussies I've ever seen. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Are there any men in Europe? Are there any men? I started seeing hashtags, stay home, save lives, coming from my friends in Europe. I'm like, what the hell? And I first saw that like early on. That was like March. Stay home, save lives. I'm like, get the hell out of here, you weirdos. Within 1 month, United States. Stay home, save lives. Get the heck out of here with that nonsense. It was a shit test to see who, it was a test to see who would comply. That's all it was. Don't kid yourself. It had nothing to do with a fucking virus. So stop that bullshit right now. Stop it. And I better stop talking about it. I'm not doing it anymore. A masked couple in a Mini Cooper convertible. It's true, Tanisha. Because you never know, right? It's too funny. Best compliment I ever gave a woman, made her blush hard. I'm walking through the mall. I had the big beard. Black woman comes up to me and says, "What's up, daddy?" The only person that ever called me daddy were my kids. Okay. Black woman calls me daddy. I said, "Not much, mama." No, this is what I said. I go, "You, mama, you're what's up." That's exactly what I told her. And my joke is, it's a good thing I grew up in the 70s. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how to like respond to that. You know, like in the 70s where like all the rock and roll songs call like women mama, you know, I'm like, all right, okay, I'll roll with that. It's funny. You, mama, you're what's up. This right here, I got this when I was 6 years old. First Holy Communion. 6 years old, 1966. Came from my Uncle Robert. Had that forever. I think it was his. When he probably, let's see, he was born in like 1940, I think. So he probably got his in 19. He probably got this in 1945 or 46 himself. His first Holy Communion. And what I'm going to do is probably give it to his firstborn son, who is now, like 40. So, which is going to freak him out when I tell him that this was his dad's. Black women love my beard. Black women love my beard. You know who loves the beard? Black women, biker women, hippie women, just like your average like yuppie chick in the United States. Just like your average well, I guess I hate using this word, but the average Karen hates this beard, hates the beard. That's why you'll never see me with a Karen. Never. I remember I worked security in college at a printing manufacturing facility. I worked overnight, and in the locker room there was a big round wash basin with a fountain for washing hands, and it had this lava soap dispenser. It was like this kind of gritty. It was like a gritty liquid soap, like a gritty lava liquid soap. Yeah, Karen repellent. Yeah, this beard is a Karen repellent, so I don't have to worry about Karens. Tanisha. Well, thank you, dear. I don't know why people would hate beards. It's so beards are so natural. Honest to God, they're so natural. Yep, Karen repellent. Stupid buddy, right? Beards do fill in with age. My beard was so patchy till I was about 26. Lava was a hand soap, but there was also a liquid version of it for industrial places. These came in a dispenser. Not, it wasn't like a regular dispenser. It was pretty wild. You can see all that coconut at the bottom there. It's awesome. I took a wicked nap today. I took like an hour-long nap. I zonked out. Gone. It's Kimberly. Kimberly from Stockton, California. Are you back from girls' weekend? Back from the girls' weekend, or are you still with the ladies? Orange scented gritty soap. Yeah, people have facial hair uh, for a number of reasons. For a number of reasons. I mean, some people grow hair for and beards for, I remember Rolo saying once that he was growing his hair because his mother said she likes his hair long, you know, and now he's got like really long hair. Okay, cool. Some people like hammer the shit out of him for that. And I'm just like, it's like, not just knock it off. If he wants to friggin' grow his hair long, whatever, do it. Do it, you know? Kimberly is zonked out, right? Well, you don't start teaching for what, at least a month? At least a month, right? So I crashed. I laid down. Yeah, it was wild. Your father grew a beard. Yeah. Yeah. Start teaching on August 1st. Okay, that's cool. Kimberly, I got your text about EO's book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a series with Coach EO, and I'll probably do a drawing or something like that. And whoever like wins that drawing or something like that, I'll give a copy of the book to, and I'll let you know who you can send it to because I did get a copy of it already, actually. So that'll be cool. But thanks for checking with me on that one. Yeah, I could care less how people wear their hair. I mean, I don't care. I don't care. You want to have long hair, you want to shave your head, you want to have a big beard, little beard. But here's the trippy thing. This is like really funny. When I had the big beard, the day that I shaved the big beard, I lost 5,000 subscribers. That was back in 2017. Remember when I had the beard that was like right down to my belly? I shaved that off and I lost 5,000 subscribers. And there was no longer any beard porn. Yeah, Kimberly, I when I was growing the big beard, it's like what I call beard porn. There's beard and pipe porn. There's people that will say to me, "You have to do more pipe videos." I'm like, "Why? Like why? What's the matter? Like 150 pipe videos isn't enough?" 140-pound mutt. Oh my God. I have a pipe Zippo right here. Rolling Thunder tires. See that? This is a vintage. See that? I don't think I have anything in it. Yeah, I doubt it'll light. Yeah, no lighter. Vintage Zippo. Rolling Thunder. Yep. You're doing the beard stash. That's a cool look. I like the beard stash. That's a cool look. I as soon as I get like one style, I get sick of it, and then I do something else. Like when I went down to a goatee and then some scruff for the CME conference, that was a completely different look. When I was on camera, I looked 100% different. 100% different. So, yeah. I don't think I can have a big dog. I don't know why. I don't want a dog whose poop is bigger than mine. I did an Amish style beard once, and I looked like Dr. Zaius from, is that his name, Zaius or Gaius? Who's the who's the doctor? Like the really smart ape on Planet of the Apes. What was his name? I look exactly like that guy when I have an Amish beard. What's my opinion on states legalizing pot? It's medicine. Why is it illegal? Dr. Zaius from Planet of the Apes. Hi, baby. There's one of my little cats out there. Hi, baby. How are you, Mama? I love all animals. Seriously, I have rescued more animals. More animals come to this backyard than you can imagine. Everything. They actually come here to die. I actually have had animals that are very sick come up on my deck, and they just want to come up and die there. And, and many times they have. And I just call there is it's not a shelter, it's like a refuge, animal sanctuary kind of thing. And they work with wild animals. Yeah. Does doubting all thoughts work? No, no, no. Listen to John Hoover. He knows what he's talking about. See, I travel too much to have an animal that needs me all the time. I can't do it. This is from my first Holy Communion right here when I was 6 years old. That's what this is. You live on a farm, ducks and chickens. That's cool. I feed everything that comes here. I've got ducks, foxes, deer. I should do a podcast with Greg Boswell. You know, Greg Boswell and I have known each other only through the web. I follow him, he follows me. We have very similar values. And I like Greg. I like Greg. And he doesn't live far from where I'm probably going to end up moving. I think he lives in the Lakeland, Florida area. So, nice guy. I'm just watching a groundhog scoot across the backyard there. What's my opinion on vapes with adults and kids? What can I say? You know, I'm a freedom loving guy. Do what you want to do. Seriously. Don't be a victim. Don't play a victim. Oh, there's another George Bruno on Amazon. Scariest animal ever. Um, the recently divorced female. Scary animal. Scary. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about growing. You only need, listen, for medicinal purposes, you only need about 3 to 6 plants. That's it. Do your own harvesting. I don't grow anything, but That's all you need. 3 to 6 plants and you're cool and you're good. You know, Karen out of her natural habitat. What is Karen's? What is a Karen's natural habitat? I don't know what that is. What, like a BMW? Best place to meet people and make friends who are my age, 50s. Honestly, um, now I haven't gone out in a year, but for me, the best place to meet people was always a biker bar, and I went to 2 biker bars, Tuesday nights and Sunday nights. I never went out during like Friday or Saturdays because it was too young of a crowd. Tuesday nights, it's an older crowd. Sunday night, it's an older crowd, and there's always a good band playing. So, and people were always friendly, male and female, and that's what I did. That's something that I did. That's how I meet people. So it's not like, and they're not like pickup joints, like a biker bar. Biker bars, I find that like the dudes are pretty protective of the women. So if like some Chad comes in and starts trying to be cool, uh, it doesn't really last very long. You won't find it a very attractive place to be. Yeah. I would go to biker bars with my friend Craig, and who killed himself a couple months ago, 3 months ago. And so that one biker bar where if you ever saw my Instagram, it's just always me and Craig going there all the time. We would meet women all the time. And it's still too soon for me to go back there. It's kind of sad. Uh, and Craig always used to drink Yingling Light. And yeah, do you remember the biker bar video I did? Yeah. And it's too soon because I know people are going to say, "Hey, man, where's your buddy?" And that's going to suck. That's going to totally suck. So Craig was a badass. He was like one of the funniest guys in the world. He was so friggin' funny. He was just, we met in college back in 1981. Yeah, I still can't wrap my head around why he took his life. Still can't, you know, even can't imagine it. Can't imagine it. Just, it'll affect me for the rest of my life. So it humbles me, makes me sad and quiet, calms me. When I think about my buddy Craig, I think about, I'm angry that he took his life. I'm pissed off at him, but had some really great laughs. And whenever I look at pictures of him, like people always took pictures of me and him all the time. Whenever we went anywhere, people would say, "Hey, can I get a pic of you guys?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And it was kind of funny. He did not leave a note. He did not leave a note behind. No. So I did one video of Craig back in 2009. It was just like me, Craig, and the girls. We had like this posse of girls that we hung out with, and you know, it's weird, just friggin' weird. Ooh, that groundhog is getting very, very brave. It's starting to come towards me right now. Boy, you're getting brave there, young man, young boy. He's eating the clover. Craig wanted to do a podcast. He wanted to start a YouTube channel called The Cult of Craig. And it was just so funny. Craig would play tricks on people. Like whenever he would say yes, like when someone said, like the waitress would come and say, "Can I get you a drink?" He'd say, "Yes." No, like do stuff like that. And it was just so freaking funny. It was so funny. It's fun. Yeah. And we always, whenever a band, whenever the band started playing, we always did this thing where we look at each other and go, name the band and the year. Yeah. Yes, these are blue light glasses. Yeah. And every now and then Facebook, does that memories thing where it brings up pictures of me and Craig popping up at least once a week. So it's just weird. I guess eventually I'll stop talking about it. It's weird. It's friggin' weird. Because I'm trying to think how many friends I have left. Like you have one good friend. Like I'm trying to think of my friends. Like my friend Robert, he and I stay in touch back and forth. He met Craig once at that same biker bar. Robert's a biker. I think Robert's had 75 motorcycles. It's unreal. So, but yeah. So, as I like to say about Craig, may his memory be eternal. And I give thanks. Say, Lord, thank you for bringing Craig into my life. Although I didn't say that when I saw him laying in a casket. I said, why the hell did you do this? Why the hell did you do this? And in his casket, you know what I left in his casket? I left a CD of Rush's, the band Rush. We both like Rush. I left a CD of Rush's greatest hits in the casket, literally, like under his hand. Isn't that wild? So, and my friend Jody, she brought him a couple meatballs and sauce, put them in a Ziploc bag, put that in the casket with him. Andy Haglock, 1928 edition of Tarzan. Good for you, dude. That would give me great pleasure to just read that. That would just, something like that is just so cool. Fire up a pipe or a cigar, read a chapter like once a week or 2 chapters. Craig liked Rush, Phil Keggy, and he always tried to get me into Joe Satriani. Are you familiar with Joe Satriani? He loved Satriani. Loved. So. As far as voiceovers and narrating, stuff like that, I've done over 350 commercials all over the country. So, done a lot of that stuff. So, yes, I started recording my voice when I was 8 years old into a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and I still have that reel-to-reel tape recorder. I got to find that. I have a reel of me pretending I had a radio show at 8 years old. Did I tell you a story of my friend Craig? He's in a bar down in Clearwater, Florida. This is a great story. This is just such a cool story. And they're just like watching sports up on a TV. And there's a dude with a beard. It's the Minister of Time Travel and Astral Projection. Thank you. Wouldn't it be great to share the mind for a couple of seconds with Jimi Hendrix when he was crafting his solos? Absolutely. Absolutely. Can we go there? Maybe. Maybe we can go there. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. $50 super chat. So Stevie Ray Vaughan, yes. I mean, this one biker bar I go to, they in between sets, the jukebox would play. I'm not kidding you. You think people would choose different songs? Everybody who put money in that jukebox put on the song Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, apart from Born to Be Wild, is Pride and Joy, the best biker song of all time. Am I right? Come on, am I right? All right, so let me tell you my Craig story. So Craig is at this bar in Clearwater, Florida, and he lived there for over 20 years. And they're watching some sports thing on TV. And they started talking about music and whatever, and started talking progressive music, because me and Craig were totally into prog rock. Uh, if anyone's into prog rock, you know, like Gentle Giant, King Crimson, old Genesis, not Phil Collins Genesis, Peter Gabriel Genesis, like back then. That's great stuff. And they start just talking progressive rock music. The story gets better. The story gets so better. And so they close the bar down, and they're walking out to the car. They're walking out to their cars, and this was such a trip. This was like, you're going to remember this story forever. And Craig, he and I both loved Kansas. Just loved the group Kansas. I still listen to Kansas to this day. The album Left Overture and Point of No Return, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So they close the bar down. They're walking out the parking lot, and the dude says to Craig, come here, like that. And Craig's like, okay, walks over towards the guy's car. The guy opens up the trunk of his car and pulls out a violin. Opens up the violin, and he shows the violin to Craig. And Craig says, yeah, it's a violin. You know what the guy says? Dust in the Wind. Craig is like, oh my God, I thought I recognized you. Who's the guy that plays violin for Kansas? He was drinking all night with that guy, talking about progressive rock music in Clearwater, Florida, and it was the guy who played violin for Kansas. So how badass is that? And the guy showed him the violin that he played in Dust in the Wind, and of course all the other songs. How friggin' cool. And he and Craig were friends. Now Craig built home theaters. He was an audio expert. He knew everything about equipment. He would go to like sports stars' houses and take measurements and do all kinds of demos and bring equipment. But he worked for a company in Florida, in the Clearwater area. It was an audio store back when there were audio stores, before there was like Best Buy and all that stuff in Circuit City. I'm trying to think of the name of the store. Shit, it'll come to me. Does anyone know what a real famous audio store was back on the Gulf Coast of Florida, back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s? Does anyone in 2000s? It was super famous. It wasn't FYE, no. It'll come to me, because all of the people that worked in that store, when the store closed down, they all went and took other jobs. But I always noticed on his Facebook, he stayed in touch with all those audio people who all went to like different places. It wasn't Hi-Fi Buys. It wasn't, no, it wasn't Circuit City. Crap. Let me think. Just hold on one second. I'm going to see if it's on his Facebook page. Just hold on one second. I'm going to see if I can find it. Stay with me now. Let's see. It was called Sound Advice. That was the name of it. Sound Advice. Yeah. So That was the name of the store. Kimberly, I get it when my mom was murdered. What the fuck do you say to that? Yeah, totally. Kimberly, I'll never forget when you told me that story. I was like, what the? Seriously? And I wasn't going to bring that up, but now that you mentioned it here, Kimberly's mom was murdered. Now, how fucked up is that? How do you deal with that shit? Like, how do you deal with that? Where do you even begin? Where do you even begin to like process that shit? Seriously, you know what I'm saying? That's just like what? So yeah, but Kimberly, I'm sure that you have your way of dealing with it and talking about it. You've learned to encapsulate it into a story, like you had told me, whatever. Um, Here, just a little background. Kimberly and I met in Vegas. We spent a lot of time together, and I think it was like the first night that we um, went out to dinner, had some drinks and stuff like that. And you told me that story, which was like pretty. It was a cool night. It was a good night to talk about shit like that. Hi, Mama. Talking to my little mama cat. Hi, Mama. Are you having a good night tonight? Are you coming to visit Daddy? Hi, baby. Yeah, it can take years. Yeah, it can take years. To encapsulate it in a story. So, yeah. Minister of Time Travel and Astral Projection. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Yeah. I know you got my back. I know you do. Thank you. 2019 Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah. Pretty jacked up. AEO logs. Question for GB. Not an advocation as in straight. Is homosexuality ideal for a man's desire for the all-in-one package, a truly empathetic friend as well as intimate partner? No, I don't. I don't. I'm not afraid to talk about this stuff. I'm not afraid to talk about that. No, it's not, because there's way too much promiscuity. You think there's promiscuity amongst heterosexual relationships? Um, that is not a thing in the same-sex world. Yeah, but that's not something I want to dive in deep during tonight's session. Yeah. Kimberly says, took me 38 years to deal. Now I'm good. So that's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Kimberly, you want to talk about it? You want to come on and talk about it? Are you up for talking about it or no? Text me. Let me know. Let me know. You know what blows about going to bed early is that it's still light out. Oh, I hate that. I hate the fact that it's still like light out when I go to bed. That's weird. That is so weird. Like I was up at 4 this morning, just tearing around on that scooter. I was having so much fun this morning on the scooter. It was unreal. Some people are better at processing loss than others. George, any comment on Milo becoming straight? May God be with Milo. I've always liked Milo. I think he has he thinks different than other people. He's a deep thinker, and he's kind of a showman. Let's get real. Milo was a showman. Let's get real. No, so What's up with the knife guy? When will you have him on again? Oh, that's Mike. That's Mike from Poland. Mike sent me a knife about 3 or 4 years ago. Phenomenal. Phenomenal craftsman. I love his work. And I love talking to him. People that are knife makers aren't just like your average Joes. You know? Opinion on Gary Vaynerchuk and David Goggins. I like both. I think their voices are important. And I've learned a lot from both of them. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I'll never forget, I went to see Dan Pena at University of Pennsylvania. Was it maybe like a year ago? More than a year ago, because it was before the you-know-what. And I was standing in line to go see Dan. And at least 20 people came up to me and said, I love your channel. I love watching you. Huge fan. Shook my hand and moved on. The line was going around 2 blocks. The guy who was taking the tickets to see Dan heard that I was in line. He came to me and said, Mr. Bruno, huge fan, follow me. Led me into the auditorium. I bypassed like 2 blocks of people in line, and it was a trip. It was a total trip. And that was kind of cool. Yep. All right, things are going to get interesting now. Wow, look at that little puppy.
Yep, I got a new puppy today.
Look at that little puppy. What's his name?
Razor.
Razor. Good
hi, Razor.
boy. Hi, good boy. Is he a good boy?
He is so good.
Aw. Hi, good boy.
Hi, good boy.
Are you mommy's good boy?
Oh, yeah. A very nice
What
baby.
a cutie. Yep. He's a good boy.
He is a good boy. And my Zena's, she's being really good with him, so.
Where is she at?
She was at the foot of bed, but now she went out, so.
Is she a good girl?
We're on the bed.
Is she a good girl?
Oh, very. Yeah, she's so good, it's a little scary how good she is.
Do you say to her, who's a good girl? Who's a good girl?
I tell her she's my best girl. That's what I tell her. You're my best girl ever. And she looks at me. She puts her head down, and we kiss foreheads. Cane horses are bred specifically to protect. And when we got her, I didn't know that. We've been breeding boxers.
That's in their nature.
Oh, that's their only nature. They are there to protect. They are not lap dogs. They don't like to snuggle. It's like having a soldier. Here she is.
Yeah.
Say hi, Dee. Say hi, Dee.
Hi, good girl.
Yeah.
Hi, good girl.
She's a funny bunny. Come on up. She's funny. Yeah, no, I was we did have a really nice conversation about my mom. And the reason I say she died on Super Bowl Sunday, or killed, 2019. And the reason I say 38 years to get over it was because when I was 14 was when my mom married her second husband, and he's the one who murdered her.
Mm-hmm.
And
is he in jail now?
He was in jail for a hot minute, and then the judge said $1 million bond, and we went nuts and said no, it needs to be $5 million. And the judge was like, no. And he said it for $2 million. He had that in a week and got out. And people in the town of Fairfield went nuts. People that didn't even know the situation were like, how do you murder?
New England? Was this in New England or California?
Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, how do you murder your wife and then you get out of jail? Well, you know, that's how the legal system works. You know, that's how it works. People
Strange.
would call me. I had people from high school coming out of the woodwork. People I didn't even know were calling me. What the hell's going on? And I said, well, you know, that's maybe you can make some new laws because this is how it works. He did have an
Yeah.
ankle bracelet. He had an ankle bracelet, and he would hold court in the front of his house with a fire pit. He would stand out there all day long, and people would come, and he's like, I don't know what everybody's making such a big deal out of this for. Super deranged. And so the 38 years was, he told my mom back when I was 14, if you ever try to leave me, I'll kill you. And we never knew that. We just figured that she was in love or whatever.
Yeah.
You choose your husband or wife over your kids, which is what she did. And 38 years of me trying to claw my way back into having a relationship with my mom. And about 9 months before she died, it happened. We started to have a relationship. And I didn't know that she was planning on leaving him. And I was, you know, I kept telling her, you need to read this book about narcissists, How to Be the Narcissistic's Worst Nightmare by Arabi Shara. What's her name? It'll come to me. And my mom was reading it. And there's a part of the book where it says there are certain narcissists who are super, super dangerous, and leaving them is super, super dangerous. And you don't take it lightly. And it's super bad.
Mm-hmm.
So she got 2 days. She told him on a Friday, and he murdered her on that Sunday.
Right.
Of freedom. But the 9 months that we had was, you know, she would start to say things. She was very cryptic, you know, so I didn't realize it was to protect us. I just didn't realize that. And you know, my daughter and my mom were best friends. I allowed my daughter and my mom to have a relationship. I was never invited to my mom's house. I wasn't allowed there, but my daughter was. I wasn't allowed anywhere, but my daughter was. And I allowed that because it's a special relationship to have with your grandmother. And I had a special relationship with her mom, my grandmother. And, you know, the apple doesn't fall from the tree far.
Yeah.
And my grandmother was amazing. And my mom was amazing for my daughter. Huge. And I innately knew that. And I allowed that. And it was difficult. You know, she'd go and sleep. Living in California, being a teacher, I could go back to Connecticut for the whole summer.
Yeah.
Which is what we did. We'd go sailing and, you know, get the lobster. And, you know, she would come and pick her up for a couple of days, and they'd be doing their thing and horseback riding, and a lot of praying over that. I prayed a lot over that, and I allowed the compassion. That was pretty much, you know, my lesson, because 38 years, me showing her compassion, it was like somebody said to me one time, what are you, stupid? You're like the first 50 dates. You're doing this for 38 years, knocking on the door, and you're not welcome. And I said, I must be stupid, because I will do it for another 38 years.
Right.
It's a part of a mindset of every day's a new day. You can always start over. It's never too late. It's never too late. And that's how I teach my students. Every day's a new day. It's never too late. You can always start over. You can always start fresh. You can always start new. You're going to learn a lesson. We're going to learn lessons. And when she did finally, you know, she passed immediately, it sounds funny, but I had peace. You know, I had peace because I did every single thing I could think of and more for 38 years. I never not said what I thought. And I have that with everybody that I know. I don't have any person in my life that I don't say what I'm thinking or feeling, because if you did die, I wouldn't have this, oh, I wish I said that or did that or went there.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'm,
Yeah.
you know, people are like, God, you haven't called me in a long time. I just wanted to tell you I love you. I was thinking about you. And
Yeah.
you're like, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, I'm not trying to get anything from you. I just wanted to tell you how I felt. You meant something to me. And that's just how I do it. And not too many people are that way. Hopefully more people are that way. Because it's a lesson. It is a lesson. It teaches you compassion. It teaches you what love is. You know, we have this idea of what love can be, and it's all encompassing. It's everything. And
How's
as
your
I've
daughter
gotten
dealing with it?
in the beginning, not so good. And recent, it's gotten better. She's in therapy, you know, and they talk about my mom, and you know, it reminds my daughter to talk about the good parts of my mom. And I tend to parent how my mom parented me. And so she can kind of see, hear, and feel things that I say that are reminiscent. And so it probably take her a lot longer.
Yeah. And she's still in her developmental years too. I mean,
13. She's 13.
Yeah, that's no joke.
No, but my brother was the witness. He went to the the perpetrator. He went to execute my mom and my brother, and he shot my brother and missed, and then he cornered my mom and got her. And then my brother and he struggled with the gun and my mom's blood. It was. I don't know how he will ever. I don't know how you do that.
Was it a rifle or a handgun?
It was a rifle. Yeah, it was.
Was he intoxicated?
No, my mom didn't drink. Her husband didn't drink, and my brother's a workaholic. He's a workaholic. He doesn't drink too much. He's a cyclist, and it's not. If you're a cyclist, you really can't drink too much. Your body is too.
Bicycle. In bicycle.
Yes. Yeah. So he couldn't do. You know, there's still you know, a case going on it. So it's pretty fresh, and he has to be reminded of it a lot. I pray for that. I pray for that boy, big time.
How old is he?
So he's 7 years. So he's 48. 48. And they were business partners. Yeah, they were business partners. So they worked together every day. You know, living 3,000 miles away in California, and not really being a part of her life except on the phone. And when we came to visit, I was just outcast. I was always the outcast. You know, and at the funeral, people were staring at me, and I knew exactly what they were thinking. It was, how the hell is she doing this? But they didn't really know the backstory, because really, if I didn't go through that with her for 38 years, I would be a different person right now.
I bet.
Processed that loss. I mean, there was a 12-year period where she didn't talk to me. It was a 4-year period, a 2-year period, a 3-year period, you know, here and there. But then the 12-year period, I invited her to my wedding. I invited her to my graduation from college.
Yeah.
I invited her. You know, she never responded, and I knew she wouldn't, but I invited her anyway. But when I sent the birth announcement, she called.
That did something. Yeah.
Oh, she called. And she acted like we had spoken yesterday, which was part of, you know, how she coped with being an indentured servant for 38 years from a psychopath.
What a weird blessing that is. You know?
Uh-huh.
Let me ask you this, all right? It's going to sound weird. Has any good come out of this? I know it's tragic. Has anything good come out of this?
Yeah, because that's all I ever look for. I only look for the good. And that's offensive to people. A lot of people get extremely offended because, as someone mentioned on the chat earlier, people process it differently. And when my husband's mom died in 2009, he didn't leave the house for 4 months.
Yeah.
And he didn't go to work for 7 months.
Yeah.
And 30 days after his mom died, his baby sister overdosed and died. And then we took her 3 kids, 9th grader, 7th grader, and a 4th grader. And we would go, you know, when you're a teacher, you have to go, well, anybody, you have to go for the work to be off from work for 7 months. You have to, see a doctor. And the doctor would look at me and she would be like, you got to give him an ultimatum. And I said, you're whacked. I can't believe you're a doctor and you're telling me I have to give him an ultimatum. I said, I will never give him an ultimatum. He's going to process this however he processes it without my bullshit getting in my way of dealing with it. He's going to deal with his loss of his mommy, and they were super close, his own way and in his own time. And, I have so much peace in my heart from kind of the hindsight of the whole thing, because years of just not understanding why I can't have a relationship with my mom. What is it? It's separated my brother and I. Unfortunately, that's kind of not the good part. We haven't spoken in over a year. It's brought me closer to my best girlfriend. I met her when I was 5. We went all 3 elementary, junior high, high school together. And her son was killed on a motorcycle, and she witnessed it.
Yeah.
And it's helped us become closer because when that happened, I lived in California and I couldn't go to the funeral. I couldn't be there for her, and I was her main friend. And here's your main friend not coming to visit you. Yeah. I just couldn't. And when this happened, it kind of magnetized us back to being friends where she could talk to me about it.
Will you take any questions about this right now? If anyone's watching, will you take any questions?
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
All right. So if anyone's watching, the backstory is that Kimberly's mother was murdered on Super Bowl Sunday in 2019? So if anyone has had anything like that, or you have any questions about that, feel free to ask in the chat, and we'll talk about it.
Can you see this?
This is kind of like talk radio right now.
Good boy.
Oh, good boy.
Hi,
good boy.
Hi,
look at those big paws. Holy cow.
He's so cute. I'm a dog person. I love this baby.
That's good. That's good.
The guy who we got it from insisted that we take him at 6 weeks, and I insisted 8 weeks. Because it's 8 weeks. Anybody who knows anything about breeding dogs or even just getting a dog, you get them at 8 weeks, give or take. Yeah. He insisted, and so I'm a little upset about that. But Xena's a girl, mommy dog, so he can be trained. So
yeah. One question here: has crime gone up in your area?
Well, I live in Stockton,
California.
And And so if you watch the news, well, of course, the news, I can't believe I just said that. You might have noticed something either in the news or somewhere. A police officer was murdered recently. Was it two? Two police officers were murdered. In the last year, there's several police officers who were murdered. So Stockton is a mostly Mexican population. It's very high. White,
Yeah.
Mexican, Asian, Middle Eastern, very high Middle Eastern
Let me ask you
population.
this: as a biker chick, and I say that with affection.
I know. Thank you.
Are you of the persuasion that is like back the blue? Are you kind of like the type of biker person and biker people that is like behind police officers and all this kind of stuff?
100%. Big time.
Yeah.
Every time I see, I've been doing this since I went to Europe when I was 30. So
yeah.
Every time I see anybody with a uniform, fatigues, an old guy with their USS whatever hat, whatever, I always thank them for their service. Always, always, always. And in the last year, I've stopped many. I've practically pulled them over, high-fiving and thanking them, and just, I want them to know not everybody is an idiot. Not everybody is an idiot. And there's a lot of idiots out there, and not everybody is an idiot, and most people do care. When I went to sign the recall Gavin Newsom thing, there were some officers there, and I thanked them all, and I had a conversation. And then later on, I had seen another group of officers that were collecting like Toys for Tots for Christmas.
Okay.
And I asked them a couple questions, and
there's the kind of bikers that I know, because I work with a lot of bikers, and that my social life is literally in biker bars. And I'm kind of like, for lack of a better term, they call me the chaplain, because I'm the guy. That's the role that I play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like the chaplain of many biker groups, and I know a lot of them, and I'm trusted. And of course, as a guy who cuts hair, I used to cut the hair and beards of a lot of bikers.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear everything. And I'm trusted in that sense. And there's the kind of guys that are the, fuck the police kind of guys.
I can't stand those guys.
And then there's the, like, if an officer is killed, many times that funeral procession is with bikers going from like the church to the cemetery, just,
Yeah. My pastor at my church is also the pastor for the police department. And so he does all their funerals, and he had one 2 weeks ago. He said it was rough. I mean, it's hard, you do weddings and funerals and Sunday service and then, whatever else you have. And he's a big guy. Pastor at my church he's gotta be 400. He's gotta be 380 for sure. He's huge. And he goes to the gym, and he hangs out with, he's a biker. He's got tattoos. And they used to call him the barefoot preacher because he would go up on stage barefoot. And then I think it was 4 years ago, his knee down amputated on one leg.
Mhm.
So now he's got one, so he has to wear shoes. He wears his shoes with his
Does he
prosthetic.
does he ride a trike now, or?
No, he fixed his Harley so that it accommodates his foot. I'm trying to think. It's his right foot. It's his right foot.
Mhm.
So that's your break.
Yeah. John Hoover
And
from Austin, Texas asks, Kimberly, have you been evaluated for PTSD or your brother?
so I've had PTSD, unfortunately, for several decades. And it started with my mom and her husband, and a few other factors in my life
Mhm.
added to it. And my brother has it severely. Even my daughter has a couple of signs of it. But because there's a case going, he couldn't get, what is it, EMDR?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to erase your memories, so to speak.
Yeah.
So he's had to kind of deal with it anybody who's been on any case, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, you got at least 3 years of waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. Slow.
So he has advocates that are there, but my brother's super private. He's a super private guy. I'm the talker in the family.
Yeah.
It's been very difficult for him. And my PTSD, I don't really talk about because people are like, oh, you were in the service. And I'm like, yeah, no, I wasn't. There's, other ways to get that. And
John Hoover says, you get the Patriot riders at a lot of funerals for law enforcement.
Yeah. I was actually it happened during COVID, but I was trying to get involved with the BACA, which is Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard of those. So but it's mostly men, which is fine with me. I'll be the support. And like I said, during COVID, they weren't really doing that. So it kind of
Yeah.
reminded me to give
Yeah.
them a call. The Sacramento
Yeah.
chapter. PTSD is really, it has people who deal with PTSD better than others. It has a lot to do with your personality that you already have to deal with certain things. And I'm a salty, very salty. I don't know, George. What is a salty dog? Yeah, I'm.
You keep it real.
I do. That's my dad, and my dad did that. He'd go, "Sure,
Yeah.
honey." No way. Did that to me all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Wait, well, which one is it?" I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, that made me crazy as a child.
Yeah.
That's funny.
John Hoover I learned a lot about PTSD from John Hoover in Austin, Texas. He's in the chat right now, and I spent decades in the psychological field, and that's what my training is in,
Oh,
and
really?
and I learned a lot from John, having been a guy who, because PTSD was not one of my specialties. I always passed on all the clientele that had eating disorders, sexual abuse, and PTSD. Those were the three things that I just never felt competent
Right.
in. I just wasn't proficient in dealing with them. And I learned more in the past year from John Hoover about PTSD than
Really?
in all my training. Yeah. John, you know John from this channel.
Yeah.
Just the insight that he has into that is just amazing.
Well, that's what helps you get through it, is the insight of it, I think, for me. Getting to know what your triggers are, what the triggers are, and you have to be real and honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Which is the first step. And any kind of growth or healing. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to understand yourself. And that's where it started. And I've been on this, journey for 38 years.
It's a journey.
It is a journey. When my mom, kind of left us, she left my brother at the police station. That's a whole other story. And she, left me at my, ended up being my foster family. I was a foster kid through high school. Not part of the system. It was just a family friend who fostered me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked about it a lot. Okay, like every night. I lived there for 8 years. We talked about it every night at dinner, and the dinner it would clear the dinner table. Everybody would leave except for me and Charlie, my foster father, and he went to high school with my dad. They went to elementary school together, and he knew my dad. He knew my mom.
Yeah.
And so my foster father, Charlie, and my stepfather and my dad all went to the same high school together. They lived in the same town. They all grew up together. They all rode Harleys.
This is in New England you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And so everybody knew everybody intimately. And Charlie would tell me stories about this. And I would tell him, I said, God is, because there's that movie, I think, with Mike Myers, My Wife's the Secret Axe Murderer or something like that. And I used to say,
So I Married an Axe Murderer, which is a very funny movie. Yeah. Yeah.
I used to say that to him all the time. I said, well, she married an axe murderer. What are we going to do about it? Years. I mean, since I was a teenager, I said that. And I guess my innate kind of knew. I didn't. He was weird. He was super weird. And all the police in the town knew all about him because he was sued by everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody sued him, and he sued everybody. When I talked to my lawyer, I said, you know who he is? He goes, yeah, I sued him one time. Everybody. Because he was such a mother effer.
Yeah.
Just the worst ever. He was a real bully.
Yeah.
And the reason he lived so long was because he was really smart, psychopathic, smart.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he could manipulate.
Yeah.
Almost anybody. I never understood why he didn't try to manipulate me, though. I was
maybe he met his match.
Well, I was too much like my dad, I think, and nobody messed with my dad.
Yeah.
Not even this folio. And I think because he hit my stepfather, hit my grandmother, hit my grandmother's sister different times, and then he hit my grandfather's third wife, and she was the only one who pressed charges, and he went to jail for 30 days.
Yeah.
He hit a lot of people.
Yeah.
He never hit me.
Yeah.
He did try to hit you? Yeah, my daughter just said he tried to hit me. I think he knew that I am a feral cat. If you hit me, I'm going to hit you back.
Yeah.
I don't have really control over that. It's like, the thing I was saying a couple weeks ago. If there's a fire, I'll run into the fire to save people as opposed to going, oh, there's people in there. Somebody needs to save them.
Yeah.
I just do it. I just go do what needs to be done.
You rise to the occasion.
I just do. And I kind of wish I wasn't that way sometimes. I'm like, well, can't we just talk about it for a second as I'm running towards something? No, just do what needs to be done. So, look at my baby. Such a baby. You're so cute. Oh my God.
John Hoover says the stellate ganglion block, or SGB, is a highly effective tool in reducing symptoms, especially when combined with MDMR therapy with a psychologist. And John, I did look that up, stellate ganglion block for PTSD.
Yeah.
And there are some great channels. They basically anesthetize part of your neck, and they put a injection in, and it goes to the the brainstem. The needle goes into the brainstem and they inject an anesthetic, which also blocks a lot of the negative feelings where a lot of PTSD resides. And it literally reduces, shock and a lot of the traumatic symptoms of PTSD. And
Wow.
just a phenomenal. I still think it's in the testing stages. Like you're not hearing a lot of it, but you're going to hear a lot more about it.
See, I have needle issues.
I think they actually put you under, if I'm not mistaken.
They would have to.
Yeah.
They would have to punch me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even going to, I've had 13 oral surgeries.
Yeah.
And luckily I have two of the most amazing doctors ever. And they are magic with the Novocaine. But, Dr. Vico just, he's like, count backwards. I said, do I really have to?
Well, here's John Hoover right here. John, tell us about the
Hoover.
procedure.
Hey, Kimberly. Hey, George.
I've
had the procedure twice.
Really?
Because it's not a permanent fix and it does wear off.
Okay.
But it wore off about almost a year after my first go with it. Here's what happens. Here's what it is. Well, let me backstory it a little bit. I learned about it watching Joe Rogan. He had Dakota Meyer on, who was the Marine who was the Medal of Honor winner out of Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. And he's got PTSD like a big dog. And he was talking about getting this stellate ganglion block through a doctor in D.C. who helped pioneer its use for PTSD. The procedure itself has been around for about 40 years and was used for pain mitigation.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, so the procedure's tried and true, and a bunch of doctors know how to do it. But what they found is they go in through the front of your neck.
Right.
I showed George a picture. It's pretty wild. They go in through the front of your neck, and they bathe that nerve with an anesthetic.
Okay.
And it resets the sympathetic side of the brain.
Really?
Okay. And there's no memory.
Are you under some kind of general anesthesia? Do they sedate you?
Oh, yeah. I'm under twilight sedation.
Okay.
I mean, like someone comes at you with a needle about long towards your neck. I really don't want to see it. Plus also, they want you very still.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of important stuff up there. Arteries, veins.
Yeah, I've had an epidural. Those needles are great.
Anyway, no, they just give me a little. I asked for the top shelf stuff that lets me see the lizards run around the top of the ceiling. Good stuff.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, but they do that, and you're under for about maybe 30 minutes, and I felt relief in recovery.
Really?
It's immediate. And
really,
they bathe that nerve with that anesthetic. And before I had my first SGB round, my psychologist did an eval on me, so we had a baseline.
Right.
Okay. Then I had my first round of that series, and I had pretty good reduction. We did a second, and we did another eval, figured out where we were, did a second one, and did an eval, did a third one, and did an eval. So we were clinically charting the positive effect.
Are there contingencies of it? Like prerequisites? Is that like why you had to have the
No. Well, yes and no. My doctor required that I had been under psychological, that I'd been under a doctor's care for this, that there was an ongoing diagnosis for it. and that I was receiving care, because what it does, I had a 70% reduction of symptoms.
Wow.
And my symptoms were insomnia, hypervigilance, agitation, aggressiveness.
Do they?
You know,
Is that needle guided in through? I mean, do
They
they have an
use-
ultrasound on your neck so they know?
have a special scope. I forgot what it's called. And he's
Laparoscopic, maybe.
and no, it's not laparoscopic. It's
Nope.
from the outside.
Oh,
And he's watching it, and they guide it in. It's a
Okay.
guided procedure. No, it's not a. They're not throwing darts at you, you know.
goody.
And so it's a guided procedure.
Is that an
It's-
outpatient procedure? I mean, are you
Oh,
back?
absolutely.
Okay,
I mean-
so you're back home that day.
Yeah, I went in
Oh.
at 7:30 in the morning, and by 11:30, I'm kind of sitting in the chair, getting over the effects of anesthesia, drooling, watching Baywatch. I don't know, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing, you spend longer in pre-op and post-op than
Mhm.
it does for the procedure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but my doctor, Dr. Frank, was, he wanted this done, and I was his first patient to get this done. I was his guinea pig, and I was also probably one of the first patients in Austin to get it done. And I advocate for this procedure. I talk to people all the time regarding this.
How long
I
ago?
never heard of it until you told me about it, John. I never heard of it before until you told me.
It's relatively new in medical terms for being used in this way.
Yeah.
For PTSD. And so combine that with maybe EMDR, which is the eye movement.
Yep.
And talk therapy. And where before I would lock up in talk therapy, it would just bring all this up to the surface, and you get an hour, and it's like, hour, this
Right.
therapist
You can go now.
Therapist says, okay, let's wind it down. We got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem.
Right.
I
can relate.
But it has been an absolute game changer for me. Okay. I don't even know, George, if you remember meeting me before I had this procedure done. And
That's stupid.
I do. I think when you and I first met, John, I think that was right before that last procedure.
And I just recently had it done again a couple of months ago. So, you have to go back and top it off a little bit every now and then. But like mine lasted a good year.
Yeah.
And it was covered by insurance.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Is that do you think that's a tough sell to insurance companies? Because I know that, they
Not
got
my problem. That's the billing office's problem.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because I mean they got to pre-cert everything these days.
I know. So
otherwise you'll get a bill for $15,000.
I have Humana Medicare. Okay, and sailed right on through. They covered it.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, and when I got PTSD after an unfortunate incident 15 years ago, a very traumatic incident.
Yeah.
And at that time, they just plied me with pills, opiates, antidepressants, benzodiazepines.
Oh my God.
all at once.
Oh my God.
I was on hydrocodone, OxyContin, lorazepam, Paxil, all at the same time and high doses.
Turn you into a zombie. It's like a zombie, right?
My mother died, not a tear. My dad dies, not a tear. Nothing. Nothing. I felt nothing.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, I said, enough's enough. I can't deal with this anymore. And I got off all of it.
Good. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear you say that.
And got off all of it.
Congratulations. That's not easy.
No, it was a bitch of a year.
Yeah, that is a bitch.
And
Ooh, that's a good one.
It almost took Peterson out to get off benzos.
Jordan Peterson,
yeah. And I was on it a lot longer than he was.
Yeah.
But I researched it and found the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pain management clinics are real good about prescribing the stuff. They suck at getting you off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You need specialists in that field.
Yeah, you do.
And anyway,
when Jordan Peterson came back, I noticed there was a fragility to him.
Yes. He almost died. He was in bad shape.
Yeah, it just brought a lot of compassion out of me. And it was kind of brave of him to press record and do videos when he was in that condition, because I really felt how fragile he was.
Yeah. But and the pills don't work. Okay. I know why guys eat their guns with this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that. I know how dark and evil it gets. And you withdraw from society, you withdraw from your friends, you withdraw from your family.
Yeah.
And anxiety attacks, you get scared to go anywhere. You get scared to fly. You know, you get these panic attacks or anxiety attacks, and you don't know if you're having a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Those are fun.
Well, here's a question here. Lana asks this question. She says, stupid question, maybe. Well, Lana, I don't think there's any stupid questions. Right?
No.
There might be some stupid answers, but there's never any stupid questions. She asks, what is the difference between PTSD and panic attacks? Kimberly, what is your insight and experience say to that?
Well, panic attacks can be the result of PTSD. You can have panic attacks and it's your breathing and you're super anxious and you're eager, and it depends on the person, it depends on the situation, because there's so many it's just like the rainbow, there's so many colors. And PTSD is you have triggers from trauma. So there's brain trauma that goes on, and there you can be triggered and you can go right back to that place. Yeah. Or it can even bring you to other places that you didn't even know. So the panic attack is kind of singular, I guess. It's kind of a singular thing, where PTSD is this spectrum.
Okay. Well, the thing is, you can have panic attacks outside of having PTSD.
Yes.
Okay. Because panic attacks or anxiety attacks is a standalone. And it's this part of the symptomology of PTSD. As Kimberly points out, it's a wide range. Because what happens is this event, this trauma or series of traumas that finally lead to a breaking point, get trapped in the parasympathetic side of the brain, where it is in the basic primal part of the brain, where it is not date stamped or filed. So it's a fresh memory, even if it's 15 years later. And so what happens is it doesn't travel, if you will, if you want to, they don't pick it, the brain doesn't pick it up and move it over to the sympathetic side and put it in a file cabinet and turn it into a memory.
Right.
And so it stays in that parasympathetic side of the brain under the flight, flee, or freeze, okay, as the way if you saw a snake, an alligator, a shark, or you hear a loud bang, or
isn't that like battle veterans,
yes,
like
exactly.
many times during like fireworks display.
Car backfiring, hyper
Yeah.
vigilance for situational awareness,
Yeah.
and insomnia. I mean, these are all characteristics that'll keep you alive in a battlefield. But unfortunately, in civil society, they're a detriment and oftentimes leads you to running afoul of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I've been out at 3 o'clock in the morning sitting in my front yard with my AK thinking someone's going to come at my house. And the police
Let me ask
roll
you
up.
this, John. Let me ask you this: with so many veterans that are taking their lives, do you think this is part of the story?
Oh, absolutely, George. We've put over 1 million troops through Iraq and Afghanistan in 15 years. Think about that. We've put 1 million people through. Now, not everyone's combat. Only about 10% of our armed forces are actually combat frontline troops.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, that represents 100,000. And that's not
Right.
counting people who came out of Vietnam, Korea, and other conflicts we've been involved in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and PTSD, as we know it, was first described really in World War I, where it was started to be clinically treated as shell shock.
Shell shock. Yeah.
And the British and the French and Germans were all desperately trying to treat. The British were the biggest in treating this. And they had special hospitals that they sent their officers to
Yeah.
The great story of Frederick Sassoon, the poet, and being at the hospital in Scotland,
Yeah.
I believe it was. Yeah. And so by World War II, it had evolved from shell shock to battle fatigue.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's interesting. Hollywood has done a great job of kind of replicating some of those situations. When I looked at Saving Private Ryan, and then the movie 1918?
Yes.
That came out, and of course with
1917,
1917, yeah, when trench warfare and such, and then of course the landing at Normandy and all this kind of stuff in World War II. Hollywood has created that, like with the audio now, like when you're in a theater,
I can't do it
with surround sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time I saw, you remember there was that scene in Saving Private Ryan where everything went quiet. Everything was like quiet, and he was just like looking around, and just men were just getting shot left and right. And
Right.
it's like his hearing was affected by the concussion of the explosions around him, because you had that white noise in your ear. And if you've ever been next to a loud, heavy explosion, you're deaf.
Yeah.
You can be deafened for a brief period. Okay, because of the concussion, and that's what I think they were trying to simulate in that.
Okay.
For me, I can't even get through the opening credits of Hurt Locker.
Oh yeah. I can't.
I've walked out.
That's a rough one. Yeah.
And just because of my situation.
Yeah.
And I dealt with, and I can't do it. And I had one of my closest friends. He was a Korean and Vietnam veteran in the Marine Corps, drill sergeant Pete Ptsd. I said, let's go see Private Ryan. And he goes, I've spent a whole lifetime trying to forget that thing.
Right.
I'm not going.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is getting back to the suicide issue, veterans, frontline, and people, there's chronic PTSD, people who've been abused as children, women who have gone through sexual assaults, rape, police officers, victims. There's a whole range of people that can be affected.
Right.
Yeah.
The trauma. It's the trauma.
And the worst aspect of it is the isolation and withdrawal, and you're alone, and you combine that with insomnia, where you can't sleep and you get sleep deprivation and the hallucinations that causes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's the
the
worst.
demons,
Yeah.
the demons come up in your head,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you're sitting there at 3:30 in the morning going, is this it? Is this my life?
Right.
And you combine that with illicit drugs, alcohol, on top of the medications, on top of having no one you can pick up the phone and say, and if you walk into a hospital and they don't want to know, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Our mental
Yeah.
illness services on an emergency basis
Are the
absolutely
worst.
suck in this
Yes.
country.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
I've had to deal with mine because I have, for a lack of a better description, I have hospital phobias. I have pill phobias. I don't take anything. I rarely go to the hospital. But when I go, I'm not like a freak, like, oh, don't touch me. I'm like, all right, let's do this, whatever we need to do. So I always had it in my head that I just would have to deal with it on my own because I didn't want to tell anybody. And that's weird, and luckily I don't, my triggers tend to be loud noises.
mm-hmm.
One of my main trigger, I have other triggers, but my main, really, really loud noises. Now, if I'm watching the fireworks, I'm fine because I can connect what I'm seeing with the loud noise. But if there's a shock noise, it can put me in a fetal position actually pretty quickly. And so I really try to avoid that one.
Me and my dog both sit under the desk on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Boxers. I had boxers. They hate it.
Anyway, Kimberly, here's
yes.
Please do this for me. Please. You got to promise.
Okay. I think you promised.
Go on YouTube. Type in SGB for PTSD.
Okay.
There is a 60 minutes segment on this on the stellate ganglion block.
Okay.
And they talk with Dakota Meyer, and they talk with people, and there's also some very technical videos of the procedure. Okay. I cannot recommend this. I mean, because I was looking at the MD, is it MDA or MDMA study out of Washington, D.C., which was a closed study run by the Veterans Administration. They had tremendous success, but because MDMA is a Schedule I illicit narcotic, it's like no doctors can get their hands on it, which is why they substituted ketamine, which is not the same thing. They're kissing cousins. They're close, but they act on different receptors in the brain.
Okay.
Now, ketamine has been shown to be very effective for depression, and people get ketamine infusion therapy.
Right.
That is not a stellate ganglion block. Okay, and I wouldn't recommend the ketamine infusion therapy. It's 8 hours. It has to be guided by a psychologist that knows who. It's basically a guided hallucinogenic trip.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right, it's a expensive. Insurance companies are reluctant to cover it, and a lot of times all you hear is laughter on the end of the phone. And but the stellate ganglion block, because it's been around for 40 years, it's tried and true. It's tested. A lot of anesthesiologists and pain guys know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to. In Austin, I chose my doctor, this Dr. Frank, because he had worked on my back many years ago, and he is a great needle guy. A, B, he's very progressive and thinks out of the box. Okay, and when I called him, I was trying to explain it to the receptionist, and all of a sudden he jumps on the phone and says, "John, come in, let's talk." And he'd been researching it and studying it. He just needed someone to try it out on. And I was at a point that, you know, if he would have said, "Now, John, we take an ice pick and we shove it through your throat and then put a funnel in there and pour this stuff in mixed with kerosene."
Yes, I know. I know
I'm
that
on.
place. Yes.
I would have been there.
Yep,
But
I know
no,
that place.
I had an outpatient surgical center, went smooth as glass. Walk in, here's your gown, do this, blood pressure, here's your needles, this is the anesthesiologist, how you feeling? I feel great, good. You go into the room, hop on the table, anesthesiologist pumps the juice to you, and, you know, count to 4 backwards, make it about 3, you're out. You wake up in recovery, have a little juice box and a cracker, and out you go. Piece of cake. And it felt like a 2 tons came off my shoulder.
Sure.
I have ingrained in me that I can heal myself. And I get similar, like you said at the end of the phone, people giggling, I get the eye rolling, and people are like, "Oh, you're so cute, you can heal yourself." And but I believe that. And so, and that's, you know, I think that sprang from me having, you know, needle phobias, and I think needle phobias is just another way of saying having control issues. And so, you know, I've done it a different way. And you know, my cousin did it the way that you're talking about. She did it that way, and she and I have conversations about it. And she said, you know,
Kimberly,
you know, all these years later.
Kimberly, it's like this. We all have the ability to heal ourselves.
True.
Do you want to do it in 15 years or do you want to do it in 3? How long do you want to extend the pain? If there's a way to shortcut, because in the end, you do heal yourself. These are just tools in the toolbox to help you get down the road.
Right.
You still have to make the journey.
30 years ago.
But see, you've had and it's sad, and I feel bad because you've had 30 years of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've had 15. Okay. And you know, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Well,
and I found this thing. I tried it. I had positive results. I'm a walking testimonial to it. Okay.
I'm super happy to hear that. That made my day, John. That made my day because you know, like you said, there's so many factors. You know, the mental health emergency situation is the shitter, and even after that, it can be bad. You know, and I like I have Kaiser, and they just want to put you in a group for everything. Group up and talk with the group and group it out. And I'm a group girl. I can do groups, but that's not, you know, I'm way past the group. And, you know, I've done alternative healing since I was 27. That's the only way I went, was alternative healing, acupuncture, acupressure, that type of, you know, network chiropractic, which is like acupressure. And I've studied Dr. Donald Epstein and the 12 stages of healing. You know, it's this. And now Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love him. He's the man.
Well, see, they've actually located the part of the brain by using they developed a special MRI process. or CT process where they and this one particular gland or spot in the brain is the triggering point for producing the chemicals that will produce PTSD. Okay, and it's behind your right ear.
Get out.
Okay.
Don't say that. Really.
No, I'm
You're
serious.
tripping me out.
It's inside your brain. You know, get a Black & Decker drill. You might be able to disable it. I don't think it works like that. George, you think? No, I don't either. Don't try that at home, kids. Whatever I just
No,
said,
kids, don't do
let
it.
that go. Let it go. But no, seriously, and this is the progress we're making on this because it is such an issue for the VA. For the VA to sponsor a study with illegal hallucinogen. Are you kidding me? That tight ass crew. You
I
know
right?
that they're and now the Stellate Ganglion block, which is inexpensive, tried and true, right? Is now catching on, and the studies are coming forward and peer reviewed, and it's all good stuff.
Right.
And I'm not saying this is the end all be all. It worked
Right.
for me. It's worked
Right.
for at least 18 other people I've talked to.
That's awesome.
Okay, Kimberly, you should look into it. I'm very serious. It could be a game changer for you. And
Well,
it's
I'm lucky
no
at this
big
point.
deal.
I'm not where I was years ago. And
Yeah, but could you be better? Could you be better?
Well, depends on the subject
Yes
we're
or
talking
no?
about, John.
Yes or no? Could you be better?
Well, I can always be better. You can always be better.
Okay.
But I'm at
And
the
with
best
no
place that I've
side
ever been.
effects,
So that's
with no
probably
side
where that's
effects,
at.
no ongoing medication. Okay.
Thank you, John. I
Well,
appreciate you
this
sharing that.
has been certainly an interesting discussion, and there's a lot of people who are hearing this kind of stuff, healing from trauma. They're hearing this for the first time tonight. Some people got some solid nuggets and some hope from this, and that is what I am glad that we talked about. So we're not ending on a sour note or a dark note.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
We're ending on a positive note, and we'll do it again. Thank you, everybody, for your contribution. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, John. And for those that are watching,
Thank you, John.
You all learned something tonight. So
Hey,
we'll do it
Kimberly,
again
you're in
soon.
California, right?
Yes, Northern.
Do you know if Joe Rogan left his stash there, or did he bring it on to Texas?
I have no idea.
I'm just curious. The price really went down when he moved here. I don't know. I'm just saying.
As
Grow your
one
own.
person in the live chat said, we need part 2 of this discussion, and we probably will do that sometime this week. So I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, George.
And
John.
Thanks for joining in, everyone. Good night.
Happy trails.
Thank you.
All right.